Casual. I'm talking about Culture Club.
Certified sneakerhead.
Friends and family, I can sit here for 40 minutes and talk about sneakers, no problem. The reselling business is crazy.
What's going on, people? Culture Club here, back again, live and direct from Ireland, broadcasting worldwide. This is episode 2, and we have quite an interesting one lined up for you. First off, I'd like to thank, on behalf of the three of us, everyone for the support and positive feedback on the first episode. We're really glad a few of you guys enjoyed it, so keep it up. I mean, all support is very appreciated. All your follows, all your likes, all your shares, they really do mean a lot, and they really do help us out more than you can imagine. So in this episode, we've lined up quite an interesting interview with a very unique figure in the sneaker game, which we're sure you'll enjoy. And thanks to you all, we also have quite an interesting Q&A coming up with some great questions. So with that, boys, how you been?
Been good now, yeah. Just picking up a few bits and pieces here and there, shipping off a few bits and pieces, taking some L's on sneakers, that kind of thing.
Been pretty busy, getting lots of packages in, lots of buying and selling, and also like Nigel, lots of L's on sneakers, lots of L's on raffles. Can't seem to get a pair for retail to save my life.
Yeah, the usual. Irish Hype HQ is slow now again. I'm sure everyone can relate, though. It's a very slow-paced life now, I feel, with lockdown and level 5. It's still only 3 weeks left to go. I'm sure we'll be fine.
What are we looking forward to in 3 weeks' time?
Hitting the stores, man. Breathing back into real life.
350 bread restock, I think.
350 bread restock and Offspring, is it?
Probably JD. They always get the 350s.
True.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Fingers crossed.
And they don't seem to be getting that many pairs recently. From level 3 back in the day, they didn't get many Zions or Carbons at all. So I'd be surprised if
we did. That was a good day, wasn't it, Bart?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm sure we'll be back at it soon. Right. So with this little bit of chit chat wrapped up, boys, there's quite a few upcoming releases. What have you got your eyes on?
Just hit the Atmos Dunks today on early access, exclusive access. So all good there, That's me sorted for the week.
Super nice pair. I would never. I don't think I've ever got exclusive access in my entire sneakers career.
I got it a couple of times.
Not once. If I was to get early access, might be on the new Sakai Vapor Wapples that are coming out. Super nice pair in the black and white colorway.
Yeah, they're nice.
Yeah, very, very nice. But being and gone, I took my L. We move.
Yeah, it's quite a few dunks coming this week. So, I mean, we have the Atmos. We also have the first out of the Ugly Duckling pack, the veneers. What are your thoughts on those?
They're okay, yeah. I'll be going for them for sure.
I'll be going for them, but I can't say I like them, to be honest. There's just such dull colors. Like dark green, dark purple, and brown is just...
Oh, man.
Wouldn't be my favorite.
You gotta understand where Nike's coming from with them, though. I feel it is a very dull time of year, and
True.
I quite like the color scheme on them. They're very
autumny.
Autumny, yeah, autumny.
Is that what you're gonna call? Is that your new name for them? The autumn dunks.
The autumn dunks.
I mean, the Ugly Duckling pack to me is kind of just the fall winter pack of dunks. That's how I've been looking at them, and
I think even out of the three, how many was there in the Ugly Dunk? There was the plum, the ceramics, and the veneers. I think they're the worst out of the 3. The plums are really nice in my opinion.
Oh yeah, but plums are an absolute staple pair.
Veneers are just like...
none of them will patch on the elephant, Atmos elephant. They're pretty nice,
Did you guys see the pink lemonades coming? Or the strawberry lemonades even?
Air Max
Air
1?
Max. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, not for
What do you guys think of them? Copper drop?
Yeah, they're very loud. I don't think I could pull them off.
Be a drop for me.
Yeah, it's going to be a drop as well. And also, what was the first pair that came out? The green pair?
The lemonades.
They tanked pretty hard. Yeah, they tanked pretty hard, so I wouldn't even see much resale value on them.
Did you guys manage to pick up any personals? I seen on your Instagram story today, Nigel, you got a nice bit of stock in today. Was there any nice personals in that, or?
I got the Union Jordan T-shirt, the long sleeve, the shot it's called. That one. That was for a personal, and there was a couple of pairs there for under the tree.
Under the tree.
Yeah, for the kids and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't managed to pick up any new personals recently. I'm kind of trying to build like a list before I just start buying them one by one. Trying to put them together, have a budget, and see what I'd actually like to pick up.
Are you going to treat yourself to those Supreme Dunks?
The Supreme Dunks. Oh,
Yeah.
the stars that are coming out next year.
Yeah. You said
Oh man,
you had your eye on
probably.
them, didn't you?
Oh, hold on. You were talking about the highs. Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll see. €1,000 plus like shipping will be like 1.1 thousand. We'll see. We'll see.
It's a
Super nice, super
lot of
rare, but
money.
like, yeah, that would require the entire collection right now to be sold and then
Ouch.
reinvested. Yeah, we'll see. They'll probably be gone by the time I get to pick them up.
Did you guys hear about that news about speaking of Supreme? Did you hear about the takeover, the $2 billion takeover of Supreme?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it'd be hard to miss it to
crazy.
be honest. It was all over my feed.
Breaking news.
What's your thoughts?
Yeah, breaking news.
I honestly, I've never really a complete hypocrite. I sell Supreme, I wear Supreme, but I've never really cared for Supreme. Is this going to do much in terms of reselling? I don't know. Personally, I feel like Supreme's been dying for the last year or so, anyways. This might just be the nail in the coffin for all I know, but I don't know. It's
It could be if it's the nail in the coffin, it's the nail in the coffin. But I mean, I'm kind of like it because I like Supreme clothes, and I don't like to have to pay a lot of money to wear them. You
Yeah,
know.
the thing Supreme makes very good quality clothes.
Mm-hmm.
And when
they
you think
do.
about it, the retail isn't even, for a lot of items, isn't crazy high. It's like €40 for a t-shirt, €50.
Yeah.
You'd pay the same in whatever you
Mm-hmm.
went to Diesel or something like that makes those, types of clothes.
Well, that's what Supreme will turn into now. Is the likes
You
of
think?
Diesel or Echo. Do you remember Echo Unlimited? Like owned by the guy who started Complex, Mark Echo. They were the same. They were a really credible streetwear brand a long time ago, and then they pretty much sold out, I suppose you call it, for want of a better word. And since then it's just been downhill for Echo, So I don't see Supreme ending up in the dollar shops or anything like that, or anything, but definitely there'll be higher production numbers for sure, I'd
I think
imagine.
the thing is that
Somebody's got to make back that 2 billion, like.
even the stuff which doesn't have a big logo plastered on it, like just say chinos or denim shorts or like anything like that, even if it
Mhm.
doesn't have massive branding on it, it still always sells out most of the time.
Yeah.
Unless it's a pretty, ugly or unwearable piece, it's still gonna sell out, which is, what I think keeping the brand alive, because you can only have Supreme written on a thing so many times.
Will they sell out though when the box logo T-shirt is not 56 anymore? It's 96, and if there's double the amount,
Yes, I'd say so, yeah.
that's what's going to happen, because, like I said, somebody's got to make back that 2 billion
True.
with profit.
Or you think it could be same retail but much higher stock number? That's what would kill it, I think. Because if just say the retail for a BOGO was €100, it would still sell out. But if there was 3 times the stock, it would still sell out, but there would be no resale value on it at all.
That's the thing.
Really.
They want everybody wearing it. They don't care about resale value. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
they don't make anything out of the resale value. So they want people wearing it. The more people wearing it, the more money they make. We'll see what way it goes, but I don't think it's looking good for definitely a reseller's market anyway for Supreme.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just gonna affect resellers, and I imagine they could not care less about resellers, eh?
As long as
Um,
they keep up the high quality collabs, as long as they keep up the collabs with Nike, as long as they keep up the collabs with the North Face, as long as they keep up collabs with all those big high quality brands, people will still always wear their clothes.
Yep.
Absolutely, yeah. Just one quick story for you guys. I'm sure you've heard from the group. But just for those listening to the podcast, Nike, shout out to Nike. I love Nike to death, but I copped a pair of the Off-White Jordan 5s on release day from the sneakers app, and guess what? They got lost in the post. Could you imagine?
Ouch.
Could you imagine? Ouch.
Tragic. That is tragic.
Ouch is right, man.
As we
Yeah,
say, soldier on.
Yep.
Next up.
Keep the head up. I mean, it could be
yeah.
worse. You could just never get any dubs like me. So, you know. Although, actually,
Yeah.
maybe that is worse. Maybe getting the dub and then getting it taken away is
Yeah,
worse.
but you
now that I
stay in
think
bed
about
all the time, so that's why you never get the W's, Levi. You're always in bed. So,
Alright, yeah, fair enough.
we talked
Yeah.
about this last episode.
Yeah, true. I can't complain, I guess, if I don't put in the effort. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
So how about we get stuck into the question and answers from our Instagram post of the weekend? What do you think?
Let's get right into them. Right, so first question coming up, boys. how and when did we get into sneakers? So, I mean, I guess I've always been into sneakers. I kind of always was influenced by rap culture and skateboarding and streetwear, and kind of always seen that, they usually wear shoes cooler than most people. So I guess literally since about the age of 12, I've kind of always just wanted cooler looking shoes. And I guess that just kind of spun off into a passion and then eventually into a lifestyle. So, do you want to give your take, Nigel?
Sure, yeah. Mine might be a little bit longer. Bart, you were saying you're what, 12 years since you were 12, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good amount of time. That's 7 years.
I was probably around the same. I got into basketball and started playing basketball, and this was 1988, and
Sheesh.
I mean, like, I remember going into a shop in Limerick called Sullivan Shoes and paying off a tenner a week for a pair of Jordan 4 retros, or Jordan 4 cements, sorry. And literally, like, ever since then, I've always been into shoes. Always had at least 20 pairs, at least, more, a lot of the time more. Then more recently, then I started getting into reselling. So, Levi, do you want
Yeah, I think my first pair of kind of, quote unquote hype sneakers was a pair of the Air Max 97 Silver Bullets. And I think I saw them, like Bart said, in a rap video. I think someone was rocking them, and I went to go and look for them online. Obviously, typed in silver Nike, and eventually found them.
those bloody
And
rappers?
I would think that they would be, sitting on the shelves anywhere. I could walk into any shop and get them, but of course, it's a €400 shoe, brand new. Nobody is selling them for that cheap. It kind of dawned on me then that sneakers were actually kind of a limited commodity. Not everyone could just get their hands on them. And I did end up paying a good amount for them, at the young age of about 14. And then that was my first sneaker story. That's what
How
got
long
me
ago
into
was
it.
that, Levi?
Yeah.
God, what was it? There was the 2013 pair. I presume it was probably those. Maybe the 2010 pair. 5, 6 years ago, I'd say.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can
My
I can
first.
really really relate to that with you, Levi. I just remember like literally it's like a timeline kind of thing everyone goes through. I imagine it's like you see a shoe, you're like, wow, I want it, and you try
Yeah,
and buy it, and you're like, oh shit, this shoe is this much. Why isn't it
yeah, yeah.
€60 like all the other Nikes?
I think
And
it
then you
was just
just
like,
go down the spiral, down the rabbit hole of, oh
yeah.
my God, and there's Yeezys, and oh my God, there's this and that, and oh, Jordan, Michael Jordan, who's Michael Jordan? What, he has this many models of shoes? Oh, so yeah,
I think it was just,
it
I
really
remember
does
like
spiral off.
going to every site and just seeing out of stock on every site and just being like, where can I find these? How much is it going to cost me?
Yeah, I used to
And
do I used to do that as well, but I used to have to go through the book
yeah,
and
yeah.
pick them out of the book.
Uh,
Jeez.
well, at least nowadays we have people like us that
Yeah,
help everyone out.
Exactly.
I mean, like, do you know those on the sneakers app? They have these classic catalogs. They're called.
Yes, yeah,
Classic.
If
I've
you,
Oh
seen
yeah,
them.
yeah, I've
yeah,
seen those a
yeah.
couple of
I
times.
actually bought shoes off those.
Fair play. What shoe
That's
was it?
crazy.
Couple of
The
retros.
Jordan 4, the Cement 4, my favorite shoe,
Ah, very nice, very nice.
It's
The
meant
first
for
shoe
favorite
and
shoe.
and I still have it. Well, I don't have the original pair, obviously, but I have the retro. Like,
speaking of favorite shoe, that was a different question we got in. Biggest grails.
ooh.
Biggest grails.
What do we think?
Are we talking? Are we talking
Ooh.
all time, or are we talking,
I
you
think all
know,
time. I don't see why not.
all time? Okay.
Now, do we define a grail as something we haven't got yet? It's a grail because we can't acquire it, or favorite pair that we've had basically.
I think you're.
For me, a grail would be a pair that I could buy right now and wear every day for the rest of my life, I guess.
Yeah, see,
I
I feel
guess
like I
I
feel like
That's
the
a good idea.
definition of grail would be like, I feel like too many people say grail, like the Travis Scotts of the grail. It's like, are they? They came out like, you know, someone, when they came out, it was a grail. It was like they came out last week. You only found out about them like 2 months ago. I wouldn't know if I'd say that's a grail. I'd say a grail is something
Have you built up
can't
that
really
much
find.
love for them in the space
Yeah,
of a week and
exactly.
a
Like
half?
a grail is something you see, you know, you see someone else wearing, you really want them.
Who's going first? Top three grails.
Top three, top three. Right. So
Put you on the spot.
number one grail is gonna have to be a pair of Jordans, obviously. And you know what, guys? Right now, say whatever you like, but I think for the rest of my life, I could wear a pair of Purple Court Jordan One highs.
Very nice.
The 1.0.
Yeah, I actually have a pair that I picked up in New York
I saw them on you.
ages
They're very
ago.
nice. Yeah.
Yellow
Yeah,
laces and all.
yellow laces. Yeah, has to be done, man. Lace up your shoes different. Put a little
Very
custom
nice.
twist on it. Love it.
Yeah, very nice.
Second grail. Oh, second grail will have to be a pair of dunks. Now, which pair of dunks? That's a hard one. You know, I really like purple. So I think I might just have to go with the plum dunks.
Yeah.
The plum dunks. They're a very nice shoe. I could definitely see myself wearing them every single day for the rest of my life.
Nice.
Um, third pair. You know, I don't really have a third grail. I'm a simple guy. I try to live a minimalist lifestyle and not clutter myself too much with shoes.
Well, we
Um,
can get back
Top
to you on that one if you
top
wanna.
two is fine. Top two is
Yeah.
fine. Do you want to go,
top two
Levi?
is fine.
Well, you wanna, Nigel? Why don't you go? Because I'm currently working on my list of
Oh,
girls at the
right.
moment.
Okay. So I've went for well, I suppose similar to Bart. Like, these are the kind of shoes that I would put on and always wear, or shoes that I've always wanted and still want. So one of them would be pretty recent. Is the Travis Scott fours,
Hmm.
the blue colored ones, purpley blue colored
Hmm.
ones. Yeah, I really like them. Um, for a shoe that's on the way, a grail that's coming that I'd love to get my hands on, would be the off-white bread fours.
Sure.
Um,
Hmm.
and then I picked four instead of three.
Well,
Then
the more the
two,
merrier, I
these
guess.
are two old shoes that I'd like to get my hands on. One is the triple back 3/4 cut Reebok black tops, and the other one is the Converse Weapon 2, I think it is.
Oh yeah.
The low cut version.
Hmm.
Yeah, so that would
Yeah.
be my top three grails.
Now I've gone for a slightly different route, which is, quite expensive pairs, which you can't just, not everyone can get their hands on, even if you paid a pretty penny for them. So the ones I've gone for are the OG Bread Jordan 1s, 85s,
Mm-hmm.
because not only can you not find them, but find them in wearable condition. I think it might be harder as well. Then I went for the Dunk Supreme Stars, the 2002 highs. Was it 2002?
Mm-hmm. That's the ones you were looking at, is it?
Yeah, so I
Mhm.
saw a pair for just over €1,000, which, was tempting, but I don't know. I don't know if I could spend that much on it. And the last one I had was the Kanye West Bapestas, the college dropouts,
Oh,
which
Oh,
Ones
again,
with the teddy
I
bear on the
can't
side.
even I can't even find them in wearable condition. They were all like ripped, a lot of cracking on them. So they were my three. I think all quite rare shoes. Maybe you guys went for more attainable shoes.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
let's see
Yeah.
you get your hands on those Converse Weapons.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Right, jumping right into the next question. What do you hate most about reselling? That's an interesting one. It's a hard one, actually, having to think about it now. What do I hate most about reselling?
I
Just
feel
the low balls, I mean.
the low balls. I think low balls are, they are what they are. The flakers are the worst, in my opinion.
Lakers and scammers. That is what I
Scammer,
hate the
yeah, I think
most
that
about reselling.
flakers is more annoying because it happens a lot. Scammers is kind of a one in a, when it happens, it's awful, but it doesn't happen every day. Flakers is constant.
They don't really bother me that much. I think they come with the territory, Just
Exactly.
two specific parts of reselling that have me on edge a little bit sometimes. It's when you have loads of stock and no cash
Yeah,
and no buyers at the
Mhm.
moment, and you're like, am I going to be able to get rid of all this stuff? And I don't have any money to buy any other stuff at the moment. And then the other flip side of that then is when you have loads of money and no stock to buy. So then you
yes,
start
that is a
spending your
problem.
money. That's just the two parts of reselling that kind of that have me,
Yeah,
On edge.
on edge.
Yeah.
Right, so
Exactly.
spiraling right into the next question, we mentioned scammers there. Ever gotten scammed? Myself, right. So I haven't gotten scammed
so
under
you were
my, I
scammed. You
guess
were
you could
scammed by Nike
say.
last. You were scammed by Nike.
I mean, yeah, I guess. Oh, if you're trying to forget about that, man, don't bring it up. It's been a rough morning, rough day. I haven't gotten scammed on Irish Hive. I haven't gotten scammed, but I have had multiple attempts. I got scammed once on Depop, if that counts. I mean, I shipped a Supreme shoulder bag out to Spain, and then yeah, he charged back, and yeah, never saw the bag, never saw the money. PayPal couldn't do anything, so that's my first and hopefully last experience of being scammed.
Ouch.
Well,
FNF.
that's how I was scammed as well, through PayPal chargeback. Even though it was a friends and family payment, which still to this day I don't really know how it happened. But he just said that his bank didn't authorize the payment, and I never heard from him again. The money was taken out of my account, and that was it. So
Ouch.
Ouch.
yeah,
Yeah.
pair was shipped to the States.
It happens.
Yeah, but you think that PayPal would have some sort of like, if I've got hundreds and hundreds of you know sales and buys and everything,
Hmm.
and this one random guy says he didn't receive his package or whatever. Like, come on.
Yeah. I suppose
I feel like there should
it
be
happens.
better buyer protection. Yeah, no, luckily mine wasn't for, I think it was like a 250 euro pair, but
Yeah, you just got to
you
be
know,
careful, like, if it's like the usual rules apply. If it's too good to be true, it is.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know, if it's too cheap, if they're the cheapest that you can find, that there's a reason that they're the cheapest you can
yeah.
find, like,
Well, yeah, that in
unless
terms
they're from a
of,
reliable source, and then that's a different kettle of fish.
yeah, if you're being
Also,
scammed in terms of buying, it's just,
mhm,
you have to learn how to legit check shoes or
yeah,
tell when the buyer is just dodgy.
mhm,
But in terms of selling, it's
Mm,
like the PayPal chargeback is just killer. Yeah.
yeah. So you just got to be
absolutely.
careful. You got to be careful with how you're paying and who you're paying.
Yeah,
Mm.
that's very true.
All right, next
Spiraling
question.
right into the next question. What shoes do you hate seeing when buying?
That's a good
For
question.
me, wow. Sure, that is a good question. It's a tough question as well. What shoes do you hate seeing when
For
buying? I
me,
mean, I
definitely,
love seeing shoes, but I hate seeing Yeezys for some reason. I
definitely
know a
the
lot of
newest 350s that come out. Anytime there's a, carbon designs, my DMs are just want to buy these for retail price. No, I
absolutely,
don't want to buy those. Thank
Yeah,
you though.
absolutely.
I probably agree with that as well. As the Yeezys, I'm not really too much into Yeezy.
Or the other one is any shoe when the person DMs you on the morning of the release asking like above StockX ask.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, you're not going to get them in hand for another week. And by that time, the price is going to be half of that. So,
A
thank
couple,
you, but no thank you.
although I forgot an honorable mention as well goes to the Air Max 270.
Oh,
Yeah, a lot of those
jeez,
as well, yeah.
yeah. Now, so with those few questions out of the way, I think it's about time we get into this week's interview, led once again by Nigel. So sit back, relax, and enjoy.
This week's guest on the show is a rising star on the Irish sneaker scene. With over 6,000 followers and a unique role in the community, Gareth Murray, aka the Sneaker Surgeon, welcome to the show.
How are you, Nigel? Thanks very much for having me, mate. It's great to be asked on. Thanks.
Very, very welcome. So, Gareth, you're a sneaker restorer and customizer based in Palmerstown in Dublin. Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, as I said, name is Garrett. Big sneakerhead. More so big sneakerhead over the last couple of years, more so than my whole life. But
Mm-hmm.
I always found I'm not a big fan of the newer versions of the Air Max. I would only wear Nikes and would always buy the classics. They're always in bad condition. Always and just from there on, I just tried to figure out how I could bring these old classics back to brand new, and that's kind of how this business came about.
Yeah, and I mean your business is really growing lately. I've been watching you on Instagram and Facebook and stuff like that. Do you have a lot of customers above in Dublin now at the moment? I mean, what's your typical day like?
Yeah, my typical day is like people are always asking me what are your hours? Says like I'm lucky enough that I pick my own hours, and
Mm.
having a young son, I spend time with him in the morning. He would go down for a nap, and then I would start to work. He would wake up later on in the day. I'd chill out with him, and then I could work on into the night. But in that whole process, I would be meeting people through the day. I have a drop-off point not too far from my house, given the level 5 lockdown that's currently going on. So I would meet people there, a bit of social distance, pickups and drop-offs. I could meet up to 5 to 10 people a day, and I could be giving back. I could be giving back 20 pairs of sneakers, and I could be taking in 20 pairs of sneakers a day.
Wow.
It's a busy old time at the minute.
Yeah, and I mean, like, can you take me through the process of let's just say I have a pair of shoes that I want to get restored or customized. So do I give you a shout on Instagram, is it? And then
Yeah.
what do we do from there?
Yeah, you send me a DM on Instagram or on Facebook Messenger, and just tell me who you are, what sneakers you have. Best to send through pictures straight off the bat so I can see what I'm dealing with. I can give you a rough to accurate quote depending on how good your pictures are. Once we agree on a price, and I give you a detailed description of how the work or what work we need to do. If the client is happy with that, we arrange you can either post to us when level 5 lockdown, and when any of the lockdowns aren't in, we do a collection service in Dublin and greater Dublin areas. So we would pick up and deliver back to you, or you could come to Palmerstown and you could drop off to us at our meeting point. So they are the ways. And then as soon as everybody sees, as you see on my Instagram, my content is heavy. I let everybody see what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, why I'm doing it. And if you're lucky enough that it's your pair that I'm working on, you get to see the progress of your pair throughout the couple of days that I'm working on them.
It's great to see something going from something so bad to something so beautiful, like, you know.
Yeah, it's to be honest with you, the reaction I've gotten from my followers.
Yeah, I'd imagine.
It's something that I never even thought would happen. It's something I never even thought would because it just started off as a hobby in a spare bedroom, and I was just tipping away, and I was too afraid to put my face on the videos, and I was nervous. And now, I did, for instance, I was in Nando's with my partner just before the lockdown, and my my waiter, you're the sneaker surgeon, and he sat down and he was talking and asking me about it. Like, the fact I'm being recognized and all now is strange, but
Excellent.
it's very rewarding as well that people take notice, and there's people out there that will just send me a message of encouragement. I get at least 3 or 4 messages of encouragement every day of someone just saying, love what you do, keep up the great work, it's great watching your videos, and just stuff like that, you know what I mean? It makes it really worthwhile, you know, that people care.
And so your service is pretty much full circle then, from pick up or drop off right through to getting everything done, payment, and then you drop off again to the customer. So
yeah, absolutely.
And tell me, I mean, like, I know tons of people who got into reselling and tons of people who got into sneaker collecting. I mean, how did you get into restoring shoes?
Well, I had a pair of BWs, Nike Air Max BWs, which are my favourite silhouette of them all. I had a pair of Royal Blue Gen 2s, and I dropped them into what will be called a sneaker restorer in Dublin, who will remain nameless and always does remain nameless. And I was actually, yeah, the Gen 2s I did drop into them, and I wasn't happy, but the main ones I dropped in were another pair of BWs, a pair of navy ones, and I bought them in Australia when I lived over there, and I wore them to death. And when I came back, I came back and I was like, this fella can restore them, so I gave them into him, and the work I got back was appalling, absolutely appalling. If you go onto my Instagram and you go to the highlights, one of the highlights that's called My Story, if you look at the one that says My Story, that's why I got into it, and how I righted the wrongs that this man done to me. But it was to make a long story short. When I got them back, I wasn't happy, and I wore them for a while, and not knowing any better, I was like, oh, what will I do? And then I just said, you know what, I'm going to try this. I'm going to do this myself, and it turns out I'm actually pretty good at it.
Right. That's a pretty cool story, actually. So you brought them to somebody in another restoration shop, and they just didn't cut the mustard, no? So you took it upon yourself to start up your own business, which was probably a really good idea.
Yeah, well, as I said, it was just a hobby. It was literally just something I was doing just to I seen, because as you said, I've got an extensive, like the likes of the Air Max 1s and the BWs and some of the 90s. You won't get they'll never make the ones that I wear again. Well, they're starting to do retros of them now, but retros are retros. Like I have a pair of Air Max 1 OG Varsity Reds from 2005. I've got a pair of Air Max 97 Silver Bullets from 1999. That that wouldn't be able to be worn only for I've sold swapped them or I've repainted them or I've done something to make these 20-plus-year-old runners wearable again.
Yeah, I find it amazing the way the sole can be swapped and all that kind of stuff. And I mean, I've seen your videos and you do an awesome job. I mean, like especially on the repaint. Even that one I was watching today now,
Yeah, the
in
Jordan
the
ones. Yeah.
blue, yeah, the Jordan ones.
Mm.
They were that was a really nice job.
I was just really happy with the outcome on them Jordan ones. So was the client. He's been sending me messages about them all evening, just buzzing.
It's a lovely color. So I mean, obviously you must get shoes that you can't work on or they're just too bad. Like I mean, do you come across a lot of? Do you have to turn down a lot of clients?
Yeah, I would turn down clients, but the one thing I would turn around to them and say, if someone would ask me, Air Max 97s, Air Max 95s, their midsoles are brutal. They just are.
Mm-hmm.
They don't stand the test of time. And a client would turn around to me and say, I love these 97s. Is there anything you can do with them? And I says, look, I can sole swap them for you. But firstly, we'll need to find a donor pair of soles with the right colour bubble. Then I need to do the work. But then I would always turn around and say, or go onto eBay, find a used second-hand pair in better condition than yours, and I guarantee you they'll be cheaper than finding a donor sole and swapping them. So I'll always be honest with my clients. I'm not out to rob somebody's money just to line my pocket. Just to line my pockets. I'll tell you how it is, and I'll tell you, look, this would be the better option for you, cheaper, unless you have real sentimental value for that particular pair,
And do you let's say source shoes? Like let's just say that I had a pair. I don't have the shoes, but these were a pair of shoes that I used to love a long time ago, and they can't be got in a retro. Would you actually source a pair of shoes for a client so that you could restore them and then sell them on to him? Like
Look, if someone asked me, I would, but the other side of it is I do so much sourcing for myself that if I come across them, I would definitely keep that person in mind. But I have a list the length of my arm of people turning around to me and saying any UK 11s in a BW or an Air Max 1, or I had a good client of mine, Tom, today saying to me a silver bullet in a UK 9. Let me know. But like, to be honest with you, I do see them, and if they're good value for me, and I know that if I buy them to restore them and sell them on, and there's good profit for me, but yet not robbing my clients, I would always buy that pair to do up.
So I mean, getting back to, let's say, the hardest cleans or the hardest customs, like has there been one shoe now that might stand out that you thought that, oh, this is pretty bad, but then that you brought it back to life?
There's been so many of them, man. There's been so many that, like, some of the before and afters are just crazy. And even I do be amazed at some of the before and afters. I've been doing a lot of lovely work on Air Max 90s lately. I had a pair of, what are they? I think they're 2008. Or 2008 infrareds I done last week. They're actually personal for the personal collection. I got them for the steel with the OG box, so I was delighted, and they came up lovely. And then another client of mine, 147 Delhi or Delhi 147, I can't remember which process or which way it goes, but I've done a pair of Air Max 90 Hyperfuse for him a few weeks ago, and like the before and afters on them is amazing as well. He was chuffed. I have what have I got? An Atmos Safari sole swap for him coming up next week. He bought them with a crumbled midsole, and I just happened to have a set of 9.5 midsoles for an Air Max 1 in the workshop, so he was delighted when he heard that. So
nice. You're doing a lot of videos and stuff like that, so are you thinking of branching out?
Yeah, we're definitely going to start branching out. I'm in the middle of getting ready to start renovations around my house, and we're going to be building a sneaker surgery workshop. That's just going to be at my house, and we're going to try and get a podcast studio and all going on that as well.
Excellent.
To branch out in that March, we're going to be doing a lot of video, a lot of content. We've been buying tripods and cameras as of late, and we're going to take it that step further.
Excellent.
We're going to try and make sneaker surgery a really big brand,
Perfect. Yeah. Anything we can do to help, we're there. Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
So just before we go, can you let us know any well-known famous clients or anything like that you might have had around Ireland?
Yeah, clients we've done work for at the minute. We've done work for Dave Moore from Today FM. I done a Manchester United custom on his Adidas about 2 weeks ago. I've done work for former UFC fighter Paddy Houlihan. I've done work for Conor McGregor. Just trying to think. There's a lot of we have a lot of what would you call Irish celebrity followers, and we're starting to branch out into that now, and it's nice to see. It's nice to see big names starting to really take notice of what we're doing.
I also heard you have a bit of a funny story there about one of your well-known clients. Can you let us in on that?
Yeah, that's actually a very at the time it was a very squeaky bum time story, but it turns out now that we can look back on it and laugh. But we got a pair of Dolce and Gabbana runners in that belonged to Conor McGregor, and they were hand painted by Dolce and Gabbana. They say the champ on them, not here to take part, here to take over, all handwritten with paintbrushes. And we were asked any chance you could sort them out. I'm like, yeah, that's fine. Bring them in. We get them sorted. So we were in the workshop cleaning, and I was doing a custom, and my partner was cleaning, and she was working away. I'm like, yeah, that's great. And then all of a sudden, I heard us up, and I went, everything all right? And I went over, looked, and some of the writing is starting to come off. I was like, oh, good luck. What are we gonna do here? The good thing about it was that one of the runners obviously were hand painted, and if you check them out on our Instagram, the before pictures are obviously before we started cleaning them, and some of the writing was starting to fade off anyway. But of course, we had made it a small bit worse. But I was going to restore the bits that were faded anyway, but we just made the work 10 times harder. But I think I actually sat and I repainted all the sneakers after I got all the color matches right with a toothpick.
Toothpick.
With a toothpick, I had to use a toothpick because some of the lines were so fine, and I didn't want the brush strokes. I literally sat there. I think I went through like 40 or 50 toothpicks just because it was going blunt and then going again. But if you check out, I couldn't tell you. I don't know how far down the page it is, but if you go down our newsfeed, our timeline on Instagram, you will come across them. But yeah, that was a nervous time. But
A hairy situation.
It was a very hairy situation, but we pulled it out of the bag, thankfully.
And do you know more? Is Conor McGregor a bit of a sneakerhead? Do you know?
I don't really know if he's much of a sneakerhead, but I think when you have that much money and that much fame, people just give you all them sneakers.
Yeah, I'm sure he's got some pairs,
Yeah, but actually, a funny one. MMA journalist P.T. Carroll, I turned around to him when I said, what did I say to him? You get all those fighters onto me, and he turned around and says, them boys make so much money they just buy new pairs. So I was like, yeah, that's true enough, mate. That's true enough.
But they're definitely into the customization, though.
Yeah, definitely.
For the ring, for sure. Yeah.
Well, the other side of it, before we head off there, I've actually with Fight Store Era, they supply all the boxing boots for all the Irish fighters at the minute, and we're in partnership with them, and we're doing a lot of the professional boxers boots. And we've done Superfly Tony Brown. We done boots for his pro debut. We done Victor Rabbi. We done his boots for his last fight, and we have John Cooney. All three lads fight out of a works gym in Inchicore, and we have John Cooney's boots, which are in the workshop currently, and he's fighting on the 21st of November. So his boots will be getting done in the next couple of days on our story. So
excellent. And then they'll be in the ring then for the fight, will they? Of course, yeah.
Yeah, they'll be in the ring for the fight. So Tony and Victor's a couple of weeks ago, and they were fighting live on TV, and our boots were live on TV with them. So that was great.
That's brilliant. Well, that's great, Gareth. Thanks very much for coming on the show, and we wish you all the best with the business and stuff like that, and keep us updated on how things go. And you can get us onto your podcast next then when you have yours. So just to say goodbye, do you want to give out your socials and stuff there so people know how to get in contact with you and how to book in shoes and stuff like that?
Yeah, absolutely. Our social is sneaker_surgery on Instagram, and you can get us. We reply to DMs on Instagram very regularly, and we also have on Facebook. We are I think we're just Sneaker Surgery Dublin. I couldn't get the Sneaker Surgery. Somebody has that in Germany or something, so I wasn't doing it. But if you send us a message on that, we're a little bit slower getting back to you. Instagram would be our flagship, and you will get us much quicker there. But that's not to say that you won't get us on Facebook. It might just take an extra day or so.
Perfect. That's great, Gareth. Thanks very much for coming on.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks, Nigel. Thanks for having me. Best of luck with your podcast going forward.
Thank you. Chat soon. Bye.
This episode is sponsored by Cian Fogerty, one of Limerick's top barbers. Anyone in need of a chop, make sure to hit him up on Instagram at underscore Cian Fogerty underscore. Thanks again, Cian.
Big thanks to Sneaker Surgery for coming on. We move on to our next question, which is, what is the most underrated Jordan model? In my personal opinion, it's got to be the Jordan 14 in some great colorways, especially the pine green and the black toe. That model is super nice. What do you think, Nigel?
I went for some recent releases here, just stuff that I thought kind of stood out recently that I thought would have done better. One was the UNC3.
Oh, yeah.
I thought early on it dropped an awful lot. It's starting to recover now, is all right, but I just thought they would do a lot better because it's such a nice shoe, you know.
Yeah, I remember they were sitting in Brown Thomas when the lockdown
Mm-hmm.
ended. I picked myself up a nice pair.
Another one,
value a lot.
one that I think is underrated as well. It's not specifically a retro. Is the Jordan Max 200 for just an everyday kind of shoe. I think it's very underrated. It's a lovely
Jordan
shoe
Max 200.
with tons of colorways. You know.
Can't say I know them.
For me, I know they're not really underrated, I guess you could say, but I feel like they're very, very, very slept on in Ireland. I mean, whenever I go abroad, definitely see a lot more of them, and that has to be the Jordan 5. I
Yeah.
like think what you will, but not many people wear Jordan 5s in Ireland unless it is a hype collab like the Off-Whites or whatever. But I mean, there's so many crazy pairs of Jordan 5s. Like, for example, just off the top of my head, the PSGs, I think they are crazy looking in hand, and
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a very clean looking model. So, just jumping right into the next question, boys. How did you build up your platform and find customers when starting? I mean, it was literally as simple as starting a new Instagram page, trying to make it look as nice as possible, and then just trying to, grind at it little by little every day. I mean, at the very, very start, I just remember probably being the most annoying little prick on Instagram you could fucking think of, like following and unfollowing everyone and then liking people's posts just, to build up that engagement, try to get that algorithm working in my favor. And I mean, like, as with anything in life, if you just stay consistent and grind day by day, kind of snowballs, I guess, and compounds on and on. And I mean, I still have a relatively small following. 1,500 people isn't a lot, but hey, I mean, it's a lot more than zero. So just having a positive mindset, keeping the posts nice and fresh, and trying to look as tidy as possible, keeping a good social media presence. Networking out to people, making friends, making connections. That's about it. So, Levi, you have over double my following and over double Nigel's following added together. So your opinion is
Well, I mean,
your opinion is quite
I
valid.
think it's just because I've been doing it for a bit longer, which is the only, you know, the only reason I probably am double that. I think, like Bart said, consistency is just the main thing. Sometimes it may be hard. You might think, everyone else has got so many more followers. If you just put in the effort and keep getting a lot of nice pairs in, good prices, connections is huge. Connections is so big.
Mm,
You start to make connections with much bigger resellers, and they might shout you out or something, or they might sell you a good pair, give you a good deal. Yeah, connections are just huge. I think honestly, if there's anything you're going to prioritize, it's going to be that consistency, connections. That's it for me anyway. What do you think, Nigel?
Yeah, well, I don't have as many followers as you guys, so I'm still building up my platform. But definitely would agree with what you guys said. Consistently dropping hype pairs and stuff like that. Good prices, lots of engagement with people.
for me, I could not find any customers on Instagram for a very, very, very long time. So what I did was I sold on Facebook groups such as, Sneakerhead Ireland or Streetwear Ireland, and Depop was a big thing as well. And then any sale I did, through Facebook or Depop, I'd link them back to my Instagram and be like, "Oh, could you leave me a review here? Could you leave me a review there?" And now most of the stuff I do sell is through Instagram, so that's how I found customers. What
Yeah, I
about
think
yourself,
I think
Levi?
having a especially when you're starting off, having other platforms that you can sell on is huge. because the thing about Instagram is that it isn't a selling platform. You have to follow the right people. The
Yeah.
right people have to follow you. The thing about Grailed or eBay or Depop or anything like that is that people are going to be searching for what they want, and then they'll see your stuff. So if you link them back to your Instagram, you know, they might share it with someone else, or they might repost it or tag you if they buy something, which is definitely a great way to build a following and getting new customers, I think. What do you think, Nigel?
Definitely. Myself, I started selling on eBay. So there was kind of a bit of a different approach there. A lot of the stuff is found by people just specifically searching for that type of shoe, you know.
Yeah.
So you just build up a customer base there. These days on eBay, I would definitely reference my Instagram account, like yourselves, trying to build up the Instagram account so that it's my main platform for selling, mainly because of no fees. But other than that, just business cards, that kind of stuff, you know, hand them out, you know. Even just today, like I was just on the street and spotted somebody wearing an anti-social social club shirt, and I just went over to him and just said, "Nice shirt," and I handed him one of my business cards.
Very
Smooth,
nice.
Not
Very
smooth,
smooth.
smooth.
nothing might
I
come of
have.
it. Nothing might come of it, but you know,
Yeah.
maybe he might throw it away, but somebody else might pick it up.
Yeah, on my desk here right now, I'm looking at a stack of about 200 business cards, and you know what? I've never actually went up to anyone. Never went to that was something falling. I've never went up to anyone wearing a high piece of clothing and gave them a business card. That's a good one, Nigel. You're gonna have to steal that
That's a
one
good
off you.
idea.
Yeah.
Might have to get some stickers and
So,
just start sticking them around
oh, I've
lampposts,
been
stuff like
doing
that.
that. You've
Yeah.
no idea. I have half of Limerick City covered in my stickers and a bunch of stickers up in Dublin.
Fair play. I wonder how many people come from those.
Oh man, you know what? You'd be surprised. I've actually I have one on the Spire, and I've had like, oh, I'd say about
On the
10.
Spire.
Yeah, man, right in the middle of the Spire. I've had about 10 DMs, about 10
Yeah.
DMs, I'd say, of just random accounts on Instagram, sending me a picture of the sticker on the Spire and then being like, "Oh, is this you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's me." I've never gotten a direct customer from it, but I mean, I guess
Still
the
time.
the yeah, the more
One thing
people
actually
see.
I found quite funny was I sold a pair of shoes to a guy in America, and I sold them. You know, I don't care what someone does after they buy it from me, whether they resell them or they burn them, whatever. But he actually messaged me. I'd left a business card inside the box, and it went from me to a guy in America to another guy, and then to another seller. And obviously the business card had gotten stuck down the side of the box or something.
Mm.
So she had gone to three other sellers in between and made its way to a customer finally, which I thought was quite funny. So there's some more marketing networking for you there.
Mm. So moving right on to the next question now. Any experience with botting and which do you recommend? Now, my experience with botting is absolutely horrible. Well, actually, no, I won't be that pessimistic. I hit five Supreme launchers once, and then I tried to go for a Yeezy slides another time, and I lost out on about €200 and came out with a whole zero pairs of Yeezy slides. So that's my experience with botting. Haven't really touched it since. Um, which bots do you recommend? I mean, I used Mech Preem to cop five launchers, so I guess I could recommend that. Not too updated on the sneaker bot market, so my input isn't really valid. Now, Nigel, I know you are, I guess, sort of experienced with botting from what I remember.
Yeah, well, I guess you could say that. It's something that had always heard of, but before I started my reselling career, I didn't need to cop multiple pairs, so I didn't really need a bot. But once I started reselling, it was something that I looked into straight away. I suppose the first step I made was to get involved with a good cook group. I joined a cook group called Sneakernomics, which later on turned into AM Notify Europe. Once I got with them, there was an admin over there by the name of Dowd. Shout out to Dowd. He helped me along the way. You know, gave me a loan of one of his bots so that I could learn the ropes. Once I started getting familiar with how botting works, you know, with proxies and servers and all this kind of stuff, I really started getting into it. So I decided to start renting and buying my own bots. Since then, I've used bots like Soul, Eve, Project Destroyer, Turbo, Swift Soul for iOS. I also have a raffle bot called Waffler. More recently, I've been accepted into the OBBC, which is the Old Boys Botting Club. This is a Discord group run by Josh from the Lucky Botter YouTube channel. Also Eddie as well from the Lucky Botter podcast. Shout out to both those guys for helping me to become a member. It's definitely something that I want to keep up with. I found that, and anyone who's into it will tell you that, the more time you put in, the more you'll get out of it. So lately now, I've really started to put a lot of time into it, and it's definitely starting to pay off. I've used some of my bots now to cop from Supreme and places like that. So yeah, it's definitely something that we will go into further in later episodes. Levi?
Yeah, I was waiting for you to mention me, but I have zero experience, interest, any sort of dealings with botting, to be honest. Never touched one, and from what I can see, it
They
looks
don't
like
bite.
a good way to. Yeah, well, they don't bite unless they take 200 euro off you when you're trying to buy easy slides. But apart from that, I have no
How did you lose
no
out on that
connection.
200 euro, Bart? What happened to the 200 euro?
Oh man, so I had it all planned out in my head. It was all about to be perfect. I set up a Google server cloud thingy, virtual machine type of thing,
Mhm.
and I spent about what was it 150 between three bots. Don't even remember what bots it was. And then I spent another 50 on proxies, and it was all going to go great. But then on drop day, all three bots flopped, and yeah, just lost out on money. So I mean,
Mhm.
and you know what? There's people copying manual all around. So I'm sure if I'd went manual, I would have copped a
You would have
pair or
got him.
two and not have taken that 200 euro kick. So yeah,
Yeah, there's
that's
definitely a bit of money that you have to pump into to get money out of it. Like, and that you have to put the time in. Like, you're not gonna hit. Well, rarely would you hit, like, if you just decided to do it the night before, and
Mhm.
you're still setting up 10 minutes before the drop.
Yeah.
Um, a lot of these guys who do hit a lot of pairs when using bots, they've set up a couple of days in advance. They're ready for everything. They've got, you know, multitude of different types of proxies that they're going to use for the same drop, just in case some
mm.
proxies are banned or some proxies don't work.
Yeah.
Some of the biggest botters I know are, they don't even have like sneaker pages or any sort of social media presence with selling. They just literally bought and, get a bunch of pairs, sell them all straight to StockX. And
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's the trade-off, with if you're botting a lot and getting in a lot of stock. I feel like it would be much harder to find, real customers. And that's one part of reselling that I really do like, that's what does it for me. Just talking, to real people and, seeing them, happy with their product and getting, real reviews.
This episode of Culture Club Podcast has been sponsored by DRPIE. DRPIE is another Irish reseller that brings the drip, 100% authentic streetwear and sneakers, and is currently running a competition for some 6 Supreme items on his page worth over 450 euros. Entries starting at just a tenner. Go try your luck over on their Instagram at DRP_IE. Okay, another question we have is, which do we think is the best Jordan 1 colorway? So I've gone for a few here because I couldn't really decide. So obviously the Chicago's, the old school Chicago's are lovely. The Shadows, the Band, Royals, and the Unions. They'd probably be my favorite colorways of the Jordan 1.
If you had to narrow it down to one.
If I had to narrow it down to one,
It's a tricky one.
Mhm.
Yeah. Have to have a pair for every day of the week,
yeah,
You think?
definitely.
Yeah,
But
maybe.
if I had to narrow it down to one, bar the original Chicago's, I'd pick the Union.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
black ones.
So for me, it'll be a bit of a weird one. The best Jordan 1 colorway, in my opinion, my take on this is a pair that would be somewhat accessible to everyone, and a pair that you could wear every day. I'm not much of a hype beast, really, I guess you could say. For me, the best Jordan 1 colorway, I think, would have to be the mochas. Now, that's a bit of a iffy one, I imagine, but my kind of take on this is that it's going to be somewhat easy to get for most people. It's very wearable. I mean, for those that like brown, it's just a great shoe, but it's very wearable with the black and the white on it. And it kind of pays homage to Travis Scott's, probably one of the greatest shoe releases of all time. Those reverse swoosh bad boys. Yeah, I think it's a pretty solid colorway. What do you think, Levi?
Now this one is debatable whether it's the best colorway, but because it is quite a simple color blocking and colorway, blue and black and white. I went for the Jordan 1 Fragments, which again is not obtainable really at all, not to myself anyway, unless you're looking to spend €2,000 plus. But I think that it's such a solid color blocking with the classic black, blue, white. Doesn't get much better than that, to be honest. Definitely a favorite of mine. And hopefully one day I will have the funds to acquire that, but today is not that day.
Someday, boy, someday. Now, the next
Mm-hmm.
question, a bit of a weird one, I guess you could say. We're stepping away from Nike, stepping away from all those Jordans. Are New Balance the next wave? Wow, our New Balance the next wave. Like even a few months ago, I never thought New Balance would come back, but they seem to be making a bit of a comeback. I mean, some pairs of New Balances are literally harder to get than Yeezys nowadays. But are New Balances the next wave? For me personally, no. For reselling, maybe. I mean, I've made my few pounds off a few pairs of New Balances before. Um,
I, yeah, I think New
so
Balances are the up and coming thing. Honestly, they've got so many nice collabs this year. That Joe Fresh Goods, they did two Jound collabs, I think, Bodega collabs, and I think what's so cool about them is that they're like, without these collabs and these kind of fancy colors, at the end of the day they're like a dad shoe, you know, that sort of thing.
mm,
But then you put a nice collab on them, some cool colors, and a kind of high end fashion label, and it becomes a really really cool shoe for a lot of people, and definitely increases the price.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a type of shoe that you could see on the runway of Paris, Paris Fashion Week, or you could also see, a dad wearing the same shoe, that kind of thing. So I
Mm-hmm.
think that they're
yeah.
definitely up and coming. I think they're definitely killing it right now.
Yeah, I went for
Uh,
the Bembury ones they were dropped there recently. All right, I didn't get any luck with them, strictly for resale purposes. They're doing pretty good now, like well up there in the 300s, like
hmm
Yeah.
Are they the
Then
next
some of them are
wave?
doing
Uh,
numbers.
I think the biggest thing that New Balance had going for them is maybe their sports sponsorship, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think I see them taking over Nike or Adidas or even the likes of Reebok or somebody like that in the near future. So no, I wouldn't say that they're the next wave. I think you're gonna have to bring out some serious shoes to take Nike and Adidas off the top spots. Like,
I'd say
Yeah.
personally, in my opinion, they are ahead of Reebok. I'd say the third runner, maybe. Without Yeezy, Adidas is, in terms of streetwear, Adidas is not really anything anymore.
okay, so
Nike is
let's
always
just, let's
going to
just say
be,
we get rid of Yeezy off of Adidas.
yeah,
Which is better, New Balance, Adidas, or Reebok?
New Balance. Like they've had, like, what was the
Questionable.
no,
Uh,
the Amy Leon
Yeah.
doors they just released. Like I said, the Bemberries. They're all like, that's all I see on my feed these days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the 992s.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. Yeah, when was the last time? Like, what Reebok shoe can you think of that's
Question.
the BBC one that's coming out?
Any of them really? Any of the re-releases that are came out recently? I think there's a bit of hype around them, all right, but nothing as much as the New Balance,
I'd
But
say
like
the
you
New
said,
Balance with the Casablancas and that stuff.
like you
What came
said, the
out,
New
they're
Balance,
very
they're
affordable.
they're kind of like a dad shoe as well, like So they
No,
have a,
definitely,
they
there's
have
no doubt about that.
appeal. They have appeal right across the board. A lot of people won't wear a Jordan High.
hmm
A lot of people will just their idea of a sneaker isn't a basketball shoe.
Nope.
It's
mm,
it's a wearable everyday shoe, like, which is what the New Balance fall into.
yeah. They're definitely not the next wave, but there is. I feel like it's just trends. Everything always comes full circle. Like Vans came back, and Adidas shoes came back, Superstars came back, even all the collabs. So I feel it's just the same with New Balances. They're bringing out nice pairs or whatever. and they're just, coming back, that way. I wouldn't call them upcoming or, the next wave per se.
But
Yeah.
all these companies, all these shoes, they're there. They've always been there. There's always been
Oh yeah.
collabs. Like it's just what does the youth pick up on? That's what the next shoe is. Not. It doesn't matter what your company is, or what kind of stuff you're bringing out. It's whatever the youth latch onto.
What
That's going to
shoes,
be the next thing, the next wave.
Hmm.
what shoes people see on their Instagrams and what shoes the TikTok girlies are wearing,
Exactly.
essentially, is
Yeah.
what it comes down to.
Exactly. Like I mean, I was talking to
True.
my son today about TikTok and Snapchat. And I was saying that what's the next wave? What's the next Snapchat? What's the next TikTok?
Hmm.
That's where he was asking me about about getting into the reselling business, and I said, that's what he has to aim for, is the next thing. Don't go trying to repeat what everybody else has done already.
Hmm.
So
Mm.
it's these kids, the younger kids, the teenagers, the college students that are the ones that are setting the trends.
Yeah.
The amount of DMs I get that are just screenshots of a TikTok or an Instagram post with people like, "Oh, can you get these shoes?" You've no idea, and just the sheer amount of people looking for mids and obsidians and Chicago's in my DMs, and I know they're all coming from TikTok because it's all like these, little little young folks, little kiddos, trying to buy a pair. Uh,
Hmm. Yeah.
yeah,
The
it's
occasional
yeah.
ask for a free pair of shoes,
Oh
that
yeah,
kind of thing. The
the
best.
TikTok social media influence is too much
Yeah.
nowadays.
Yeah.
So our last question is our top releases of this year so far in 2020. Myself, I definitely really was there for the Kobe's on Kobe Day and stuff like that, Kobe Week, when they dropped. What about you guys?
For me, it is the year to dunks at the end of the day. So my top releases, just gonna have to go with a bunch of dunks, man. We've seen Strange Loves, Plum Dunks this year, all the skateboard shop collabs such as the instant
Mm-hmm.
skateboards, obviously the chunky dunkies, you've the Chicago dunks, just an endless supply of dunks. The top release for me this year has to be the Chunky Donkeys. Just
Yeah.
the execution with the marketing and the special box and the way they did it and the raffles that were run through the skate shops with the little challenges you had to do. I think that's what really made the Nike sneakers app blow up
Mm-hmm.
this year. Has to be the Chunky Donkeys for me.
And
I
also
think.
the Grateful Deads, they kind of were along the same lines as well, weren't they?
Yeah. True.
Absolutely, yeah.
True. I think we can't. It'd be rude to leave off the off whites this year,
Mm.
especially the off white Jordans, Jordan 4s, Jordan 5s, with the black and the white colorway of the Jordan 5s, both of which are very, very nice in hand, I must say.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't been lucky
Mm.
enough to touch the Jordan 4s, but
The,
definitely a super nice shoe, which kind of broke the internet, the sneaker internet, I would say,
yeah,
when they were leaked or released.
that
I know
off-white
everyone was
4,
going for those.
that off-white 4, the sale colorway, that was
Yeah,
probably
super
my
nice.
shoe of the year so far. Just the quality of it was just unbelievable.
Yeah, I feel like I haven't seen a lot of people wearing them because they're actually so expensive now. I didn't even really notice that. They're like €1,500 for a men's size.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the Jordan 5s are
Insane.
€500, and the Jordan 4s are three times the price. So I haven't really seen them in a while because just it's not a shoe that everyone can acquire.
Yeah, and
Mm.
it's definitely not a colorway that you can wear in Ireland either.
No, it gets fucking dirty. You take one step outside the door and it's a mud puddle
Mm-hmm.
right there.
So
Yeah, I
yeah,
think also we can't
overall,
forget the Jordan 1s as well. Mochas, Midnight Navies, Lucky Greens,
Royal Toes,
Royal Toes. Yep, so many nice.
Biohacks.
Yep.
it's been a crazy, crazy, crazy year for releases overall. Crazy, crazy
Hmm.
year. And with that, that is all the questions wrapped up in our lovely Q&A. So thanks to everyone that dropped a question. We really enjoyed doing this, and I'm sure Q&A will be back soon. So with that, we're coming to the end of episode 2 of Culture Club Podcast. We'd like to thank you all for tuning in once again, and hopefully you'll be back another time. You can email us at cultureclubireland@gmail.com with anything you may have in mind, whether that be a query, feedback, suggestions, questions about sponsorship, whatever you like. We can be found on Instagram at Culture Club Podcast, and you can find me at Irish Hype on Instagram. And that's Bart signing off.
You can find me at _drip__culture on Instagram.
And you can find me at 60.souls on Instagram.
And thanks for listening, and we hope to see you next time.